Yeah. Listen, buddy.
Listen, pal. Barking up the wrong tree. You're on thin ice.
You're on
Those
thin
lights,
ice,
buddy.
dude.
Watch it, Bucko.
Pipe down,
man,
sir.
Pipe down.
That's the one I use a lot, actually.
Pipe down's good. It's a really, really good one.
Simmer down.
Man, you're home for Old Man Sayings. It is SoCal Saturdays on the Horse Racing Happy Hour Podcast Network. My name's Louis Rameau. He is Barry Spears. We are so glad you've decided to spend part of your Friday or Saturday morning or Saturday evening, whatever you're doing, whenever you get to this. We really do appreciate it. We mean it. When we say it, you are certainly welcome to comment wherever you're watching. We would love to have you as part of our program. We do this every Friday at this time, getting you ready for the day ahead on Saturday. Really, really glad that, again, that you chose to spend part of your weekend with us. Barry, closing weekend at Santa Anita this weekend. So, of course, that means we get a ton of horses that might be horses for a course, or at least that their connections are considering running in this weekend. So a lot of quick turnarounds, those sorts of things. Makes for a fun card and, frankly, a full card as well. Barry, how are you?
Doing good. Can't wait for this card, actually. There's a couple horses I do like. And, you know, the connection sometimes they want to get one before they kind of break. So you'll see a lot of good races, I think.
We have a couple of different notes, of course, but the Grade 3 Daytona is on this card, as is the Grade 3 Summer Oaks. So we'll talk about 3-year-old fillies as well. An interesting pair of fields there. The Daytona's loaded.
Is that named after a horse or
the Daytona? It is. We will talk about who Daytona is when we get there later in the show, of course. Next week, and I'm going way out of order here, but of course, it will be the Los Al Derby next week. But do you know the other Derby next Saturday? It's called the Ohio Derby. Okay, they'll run that at Thistle. Okay, and Barry, you're probably like me, and I'll give you an example. I was doing the Belmont preview with our guy Bobby Hall, our guy Steve Kornacki, and you texted me during that show, man, I could just listen to Bobby Hall talk horses all day. My guy like that, Bob's on that list for sure. But a guy on that list that I don't think is appreciated enough in horse racing is Bob, a different Bob, up in Ohio. And his name is Bob Roberts. He used to write for the Plain Dealer. So he was the handicapper in the newspaper of record in Cleveland. Okay. And I guess there were dueling there's like the morning paper and the evening paper. So they would have the dueling handicappers and that kind of stuff. And there had to be a chair between them in the press box and that kind of stuff. But I always get to talk to Bob this time of year, and Bob is retired from the Plain Dealer, but he still does the handicapping guide at Northfield.
Oh, okay. Good.
So he's still very much in the game. He's way up on horses. He's really involved as far as he really knows what's going on in the sport. I get to talk to him once a year. I'm excited. The Ohio Derby brings Bob Roberts back into my life. So it's a good thing there. No, it's great. It really is the best for sure. But we're talking.
Is it the Jack? Is that at the Jack?
It's at Thistledown. Yeah. Yep. Yeah. So
it's not Thistle Downs for those out there. I hear a lot of people saying that. One down.
Just one down. We will get to Barry's boring play of the day later on. I imagine we will go deep inside the mind of Spears, unfortunately, for this one, but let's get it going. This is SoCal Saturdays on the Horse Racing Happy Hour Podcast Network. Louis Rameau and Barry Spears hanging out with you. We're presented by Amwager, amwager.com, and their $50 deposit match right now. 100% of that. You put in 50, they put in 50. You put 100 in, they put 50 in. Go check them out right now. Amwager.com. You don't need a promo code. Just go use the website. If you have not signed up with them, bet anywhere in Southern California. Barry, let's get it going. We're going a mile on the turf. $30,000 claimer for non-3 lifers. $27,000 on the line in the purse. And fillies and mares 3 and up. Barry, who you got in the lid lifter on Saturday?
Yeah, in the first race here, I thought there wasn't too much speed on paper anyway. It really kind of tough to see who was going to be out there on the lead. I think Newport Dreams, the 6, will probably get out there, but I don't know how strong that horse is. I know they're improving. You can see the buyer improvement on that horse, but I still think there still might be another horse that could beat that one. And I went with the 3, Sakura Flavor. Should stand to get a really good trip in this race right behind the 6. And I'm hoping they can just stick right to him like glue and just pass him in the stretch to get this win. The 2, My Perfect Wave, who's even money on the morning line. is a stone cold closer. And I just don't like horses like that in races like this. So we're going to fade that one and keep that one in third.
Yeah, I don't have that one in my top three at all, Barry. And I think it's for the reasons that you just said. I think there's enough speed on the front that one of these horses could pick it off. And I think it could start with a 6 horse. You mentioned Newport Dreams here. Arantes gets the mount. I'm with you. I think they're just going to go for it like they did last out at the 25 level. And I've watched this horse now in non-2-lifer kind of company, last out just in 25 claimer company. Go ahead and win that race. This horse has been third by 2 lengths, third by a length, second by a length, breaks through last time. That's just form that I trust. And one of those races was at 6 furlongs. So once we got to a mile, this horse has been in the trifecta, and that's all she's done. 4-year-old here, Barry, I think she's getting into the better part of her career in that twirling candy line with Rockport Harbor on the dam side. I think, look, is she a claimer type horse? Yeah, I think she is, but sure, I think she can be really competitive for a while. So Newport Dreams on top for me. I went to Alaramo second. This is a horse you and I have talked about quite a bit in these claiming types of races. 2-back was very good at this level, going a mile under Florent Giroux, picks up Joel Rosario here. And look, we can make whatever Joel Rosario joke we want. The numbers are there, man. He's winning over a fifth of his races out there in Southern California. He's essentially getting multiple wins per day on these cards. And so I think he's absolutely live here. And then I went to the 3, and that's Sakura Flavor that you mentioned. A Sakura, do you know what that is, by the way?
I do not.
Okay, so Sakura is a cherry blossom tree. So
I think
Sakura Flavor. Go ahead.
I think I knew that. It's like cherry, right?
It is cherries, that's right. Cherry blossom tree, and so it must be cherry flavor if we're going for that. But of course, the Irish bred here, made for turf, was very good last time, and very good the last time before that under Juan Hernandez and Antonio Freis, who seems to be there in all of these equations. And so 6, 4, and 3. So definitely go ahead and sign on for the 2 to win.
Speaking of cherries,
talk to me.
My favorite slush.
Cherry.
This is mine to Spears right here. My favorite slush is to mix cherry and coconut together. So you have they scoop it out. I get half cherry, half coconut.
Okay. So like if we're talking Simpsons, that's the squishy machine.
Yeah, that you can use that one.
If we're talking 7-Eleven, we're talking Slurpees, right? So you're talking like a Slurpee thing, or like what do we?
No, more. This is like water ice,
like shaved ice kind of thing.
Yeah, like Italian ice.
Got it. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So you get like 1 pump of coconut, 1 pump of cherry.
No, they scoop it. So they layer it. They layer the bottom coconut, then cherry, then coconut, then cherry.
Yeah. Okay. So you need to layer it as well, as what you're saying. Part of the magic here is the layering of the 2 things. I imagine one's red, one's white, right? They're different colors, so you get that kind of visual appearance as well. Okay, I don't hate this. All right.
Beautiful.
Coconut with cherry.
Yeah.
I would have lost that bet.
Strange bedfellows, but
we're in Mind of Spears for sure. You're not wrong about that. All right, moving on to race 2. We'll get out of the Mind of Spears here.
Learn something new every day, sir.
I didn't actually learn anything. The early pick 4 starts here. Race 2 maiden. It's not a maiden. It's a $10,000 claimer, 6 furlongs on the dirt here. $21,000 on the line for 3-year-old and up on the Philly side of things, Barry. And I am ready to get boring with my picks here. I'm going inside with the 1 horse, Ms. Club Cali, winner last time by 3 lengths at the 12.5 level, drops into the 10 level here. Daughter Clubhouse ride. We know that there are no restrictions on anything essentially with that, as that is the Candy Ride line. 5-year-old mare here was good at the $10,000 2-back, did win at 6 furlongs at the $10,000 level for non-3s 2-back as well. So a 2 first and a second in her last 3 races. I think simply put, she's in the best form of anyone in this field. Then I went to the 4 in Harding Lane. Speaking of chalk, 3-1 here for Antonio Garcia. Ricky Gonzalez, keeps the mount here. Was really good at the 62.50 level. Has not been good at this level though, at the $10,000 level. So interested to see her get here at the Emerald Downs meet back in July of last year. She ran well at the 15 level. So I'm interested to see if she can't get it going in this kind of company here. But the 2 horse rounds out my picks here with a 20-1 shot. Daddy gave it to me. Edwin Alvarez trains here, Zach and Lord Barry. And what's interesting here is this one broke its maiden at Santa Anita in a maiden 20, but that was going a mile. We're getting back to a sprinting distance. And if we go back to some of those maiden races sprinting, this horse was pretty good. Was at the 1,000 yard last time at Los Al, but this is not a Los Al horse. This horse just does not love Los Alamitos. If you go through the lines with this horse is much more of a Santa Anita horse, has finally gotten in to the right level. I don't think the 2 wins here, Zach, but I think the 2 can absolutely hit the board. So I think like a 1-2 kind of exacta, if you wanted to play that to try to get some value, I think makes a ton of sense. 1, 4, and 2 for me in race 2. Where'd you land?
Yeah, me and Zach, we look alike, so I understand why you say it.
That's a good joke for like 3 of us in the world. Like that
Yeah.
you and no Zach. That list, that crossover is very, very small.
That's all
It's like
right.
James,
That's what we
like
do
3
the
guys
show
at the
for.
station, and we do the station for 3 do the show for 3 people. That's exactly right. Poor Zach catching strays.
I think Miss Club Cali, the one, is a little dressed up here and too good to be true in a sense.
Okay.
Because this horse really hasn't put together 3 races back to back to back to back, and they did that. I'm just waiting for that shoe to fall off. They draw the rail here, 3-2 on the morning line. It just spells disaster to me. So I ended up going with the 6, Perfect Life. And if you look through this horse's past performances, you kind of have to take out all of those mile tries.
Yep.
And if you do that, you'll see that this horse runs pretty good when they sprint. And it makes you wonder why they keep going long with this horse. But they went to 6 furlongs last time, and it was a few days ago. So I'm not 100% sure this horse is going to show up, but I think they might, only because of the fact that this isn't a really tough field. They kind of won going away last time. They may have figured something out. If they show up here, I think they might be dangerous at a decent price. There really isn't much speed in here, so Elton Sings Another, I definitely put on the ticket because I think they might be able to hang around, even though they don't like to win. I think they have enough speed and are pretty much better than most of these horses that they can finish in the money here. But
I think the race at the end of February for that horse would win in this company, for example.
Yeah,
I think that's a winning race in this company. Yeah,
it definitely would, but I don't think that, that field was a lot different than this one. So I don't think, in that race, they actually had a target and they were sitting off. This one, they're going to be on the lead. I don't think that's their best trip, but it's the trip they're going to get.
Edgar Payeras rides there. We know him as a sprinting specialist from over at Los Alamitos as well. So you can look there, 6-1 and 3 for Barry in race 2. I went 1-4 and 2 in race 2 at Santa Anita Park tomorrow. This is SoCal Saturdays on the Horse Racing Happy Hour presented by Amwager. Maiden special weight race 3. We're going a mile again on the turf here. Barry State Breds on the on the female side of things. 3, 4, and 5-year-old fillies and mares are eligible for this one. Going to the Cal ranks here. Where'd you land?
This was an interesting race all the way around because I wasn't really sure how this race is actually going to shape up on paper. I know that the 5 First Light showed a lot of speed first time out, but I think there's other horses that are going to show speed, and this pace might heat up quite a bit. I think the 2 Have Style, getting blinkers on for the first time, had the propensity to kind of be forwardly placed. I think the blinkers might tip them over the top, and they might be right on the engine with First Light. And then also the 4, Judy Lynn Star, another horse that's been on the lead before, and I think that's their best trip. So they're probably going to be forwardly placed, and that might push the pace into a spot where the closers might have a shot. With that being said, I ended up on number 7, Impressionistic. I think this horse might be okay. I believe, and I'm going off what I read, not my notes, but this horse is a half to full count Felicia.
Okay.
And that's a pretty decent turf horse. They're getting blinkers on, which will help. And Rosario, who is a much more patient rider than Jaramillo is, at least style-wise. I think they might stand to get a pretty good trip. Rosario's riding well. Leonard Powell does really good with these kind of horses in general. Second time out, I think they have a good shot at a decent price here.
I think they have something too, because Jaramillo is available. He's not in this race at all. And so they obviously think moving to Joel is the thing to do here. I'm going to try to ride the second timer in First Light here. I love a horse, Barry, that does the right things and just runs out of gas on debut.
Yeah, we've seen that happen all the time.
So
I can't.
often, yes, yeah.
I can't even count how many times I've seen a horse go to the lead, quit, then next time out, go to the lead and keep running.
Yes, exactly right. And so
uncanny.
That's what I'm banking on here for sure. Juan Hernandez gets the mount here. Joel Rosario rode first time for Carla Gaines. Second timers for her do hit at 14%. She's very good on turf as well. Huge sample size hitting at 15%. Her and Juan Hernandez, though, even better, 36% together, 3 of their last 11 at Santa Anita Park. And so interested to see them pick it back up. I think this Daughter of Liam's map makes the most sense in here. Barry tried on May 16th, gets the month off here, gets to run back in this company. So I'll go 5, 7, and 3. You talked about impressionistic, and I could not agree more. I think a second time start here makes a ton of sense. And I like the blinkers on angle here because, like you said, Joel's going to be a little bit more patient with this horse, but the blinkers will almost certainly encourage a little more speed out of the gate and be closer to that pace as the race develops. And then the 3 horse here in Hot Day Girl. Don't you feel like Hot Girl Day is like a bad movie on like the Lifetime Network or something?
Was it Tubi? Tubi? Whatever that is. I've never watched Tubi. I see people on the internet talk about it all the time, but yeah, it's like low budget.
I have a buddy. We were in grad school together, and he was Tubi's like data science guy for like 6 months or something.
Oh, wow.
It's a legitimately horrible place to work.
Oh, that's not good.
If Tubi would like to carry our podcast, they're certainly welcome to do that. But I went to the 3 horse here in Hot Day Girl, who I am considering a second time starter, but this is essentially just her doing something for the second time, which is routing, going a mile. Hector Barrios keeps the mount here. She was just nowhere to be found last out, Barry. And then she passed 7 horses. Okay. She passed 7 horses to end up in 4th place. I'm hoping that Hector Barrios will have her a little bit closer to the pace. And in fact, I think the most recent work on May 24th, before that race, was an attempt to get some more speed in her, and it just didn't work. Obviously, Carla Gaines thinks she's in really good form to turn her around this quickly, so I'll go with her in the 3rd spot, 5, 7, and 3 in race 3. Moving on to race 4. Looking at the Saturday,
I was
card
accurate
at Santa Anita
too.
Park.
The 7 is by or is a half to Full Count Felicia, who made
there you go
$809,000 on the turf. So, yeah, I like it.
Have you ever seen the meme? It's the nun. She's holding a church and she's holding up a cross, and it says Saint Felicia, the patron of farewells. Have you seen that one?
Yes,
very good. It's a nice job. Yeah, no, it's very funny meme. All right,
Friday
race 4.
See, and today's Friday. How about that? Look at that.
How about that? We're rolling a mile on the dirt for the next race. Race 4, $67,000 on the line and an optional claimer. $20,000 is the claim price if you want your horse in. This for non-2 lifers and Calbreds. This is on the filly and mare side again, 3 and up in here, Barry. Lots of female horses in California these days. It's nice to see. And race 4, I went ahead and landed on the 7 here. Surprise to almost no one, but we are going to try to beat the favorite in here with Bessie Coleman, the aforementioned Emisile Jaramillo, rides for Steve Miotti. This one's also entered today in the 3rd race. I should probably look to see if this one's running or not. Barry, should I do that in live on live TV here or whatever this stream?
Yes, you should.
Okay,
you should, because I'm doing it.
We will find out if the scratches are out. Bessie Coleman has scratched out today to run tomorrow.
Okay.
So, she will be in tomorrow.
Boom.
She won at the 25 level. She moves to the 20 level for this race. Now, that was at 6 furlongs on the dirt. And guess what we get to do here? We get to go a mile. So there is some question about going the 2 turns. Last time she tried that, she did that under Vicente Del Cid, who, let's just put it this way, isn't riding in California anymore. And so I do wonder if we can't get some kind of good form out of her where instead of going out at 45 and change, they can get a 23 and 46 kind of trip from the outside, kind of let her sit just off of it like she did last time, and then make her move later on. I think what happened under Vicente Del Cid is he got the lead and she didn't know how to pace herself. I think if she's allowed to just sit right off of someone, she'll run much, much better here in this spot. 715, Barry. As my notes go to the wrong part of the screen, there we go. Dory Miller is the 7-5 morning line favorite. This is a horse that has run at the distance 4 times and never won. And I'm always reticent to bet those kinds of horses in these spots, but the speed figures, the company this horse has been in, all make sense for this horse to at least be part of the equation. So I put her in the 2nd spot for this one. The 5 horse in here is Clubhouse Cutie, obviously in that Clubhouse ride line. They tried the mile last time. The horse just kind of ran out of gas, but obviously the Kroyak barn thinks that there's something here, and she'll try the distance again. And so I'm interested to see this daughter of Clubhouse ride again. The breeding says go distance. Interested to see if she can get a little bit more, but a real race here, Barry. A lot of horses were wondering if the mile is actually what they want to do.
Yeah, then this should be a stagger fest in the lane.
I agree with
Everybody
you. God, I totally agree
just
with you.
trying to get to the wire desperately. But if you told me that you're gonna face a race on Saturday where the favorite 7-5 on the rail never wanted the distance, never wanted the track. I mean, I would tell you, hey, where do I line up to bet against this horse?
Yep.
And this is the exact race I'm talking about, because Dory Miller, despite the speed figures, just doesn't win. Has 11 seconds in 35 starts, only 2 wins and 7/3. I mean, if that doesn't tell you where this horse is going to finish, I don't know what is. I mean, certainly they can win, but I just can't do it here. In fact, I threw him out of the whole picture completely. I did notice that there wasn't really a whole lot of speed in this race. And my idea is that the 3-horse, Neezer Dalton, who actually is another horse that's supposed to be running today, and we got to check that one.
Looking right now for you. Go ahead, keep talking.
Because this horse, who is scratched, might be the speed of the speed. I know, they hadn't been out for a couple years, come back in March, don't run a step, but then they show a lot of speed. But if you go back to when this horse was running regularly in 2024, really he didn't run a bad race. I think 12-1 might be a bit of a stretch. But if we get 5, 6, 7-1 on a horse like this in this race, yeah, we're going to the window with both hands. But I think they really do stand a nice chance. And I think this horse is nice, just had some injury problems, and they have to bring this horse back at a level that they think this horse is. And honestly, before the layoff, they didn't really prove they were better than this, but they did prove they can win here. And I think they stand a good chance.
You got John Ivory's Imperfection, the 2-horse here in your second spot. Never tried the dirt before. 1 for 11 on the turf. I'm going to guess I can't find it, but it was at the distance. It was at a mile distance. There it is. Trying the dirt here. This is a lesser known trainer for sure. The good news is, of course, you get Hector Barrios. But what do you like about this horse? I assume, what's interesting here, Barry, is actually this is the kind of horse I would expect actually to see at Los Al, right? Because you go from the turf, try the dirt. The Los Al surface is considerably better for that. Obviously, trying this week, maybe the horse is just in form and ready to go now. What do you like about her, though?
Typically, you are correct. And I think that might be some of the idea, but they hook a field here that's very soft. I mean,
right. Fair enough.
As far as state bred optional clamor 20s go, this isn't all that difficult of a race. And I think just the fact that they're shaking things up, going turf to dirt, might make all the difference, especially getting Hector Barrios again. I think they figured something out when he rode this horse the first time. They put Kent D on, and they really didn't get a good trip that day. Go back to Barrios, and he runs a lot better. I think he may have figured something out with this horse, and I think they're going to run a way better race than they have recently, and then they get on the dirt for the first time. That might wake this horse up a little bit and have him run. So I'm going to throw this one in the money, actually in second place here. In a race, once you get past the favorite, I think it's pretty wide open.
3, 2, and 5 for Barry in race 4, 7, 1, and 5 for me in race 4, Santa Anita on Saturday. Move on to race 5, closer of the early pick 5. I'll give a ticket for that in just a moment. But of course, a middle pick 3 starts here. Pick 3s are $1 minimum at Santa Anita Park. The late pick 3, of course, a $3 minimum. $10,000 claimer awaits us in race 5, the second in the sequence. 4 non-3 lifers, a mile on the dirt, $20,000 on the line here. Barry, 3 and up. Odd numbered race means you get to go first here. Mises Express will be the 1 horse and probably the favorite at post time, breaking from the 1 under Joel Rosario for Isidro Tamayo. Where'd you land in this one?
It's another race where the favorite stuck on the rail and just they don't look good. They don't really win all that often at Santa Anita, and it's just not forwardly placed. I could forgive a lot of that if this horse was going to be forwardly placed, but I don't think they're going to be even that. So we're going to chuck the one there and see what we can get. But I ended up on the 7 Spiritual Advisor, and this horse came back off the bench in a spot that was pretty difficult. They were hung out wide and just got the wide experience. You see the comment in the forum, it says 4 deep, 2 to 3 wide, and just weakened, which you would expect. The time before that, in March, they kind of did the same thing. Now, in this race, they're stretching out, which is a good thing, for the second time. And I think this horse runs better in races like this, at least going a mile. You'll see those optional claimer 20s, the state bred ones. This horse was running pretty good back in 2025. I think they can get back to that form. This field isn't all that difficult. So the drop in class, which I think this is, even though it is a $10,000 claimer, non-winners of 3, but they were coming out of 20,000 optional claimers for state breds. And I think this is a step down, and they should run much, much better. Hopefully they'll fly a little bit under the radar, and we can get that 5-1.
Barry 7, 3, and 6 here. I went 3, 7, and 4. You and I having the same top 2 flip positions for sure. But Grandissimo, you could say many of the same things about that you just said, except this horse, since moving to a dirt mile, the 2-turn dirt mile there at Santa Anita Park, has been very good at the $10,000 level. And this is one that keeps going back and forth between barns. It's been in the Tamayo barn a couple of different times, and the Andrew Harris barn, and of course is now with Andy Mathis, who wins on dirt at 22% and first claimers at 15%. This is just one, Barry, that hits the board like crazy, has been in the top 2 his last 3 races. I just think fits in this spot really, really well. And should be part of it as well. You went to the 6 horse in the 3rd spot here in Bally Hooligan, which is not a name anyone's ever called you. What do you like about Bally Hooligan?
No, not this week anyway. But I think this horse just is going to be forwardly placed. They're getting a little break in the weight with the apprentice jockey Hussein in the saddle, and in races like this, that could make all the difference. These horses aren't lighting the world on fire by any means, and just having any kind of advantage can definitely make the difference. I'm not really fond of Tiger Whitworth, although this horse ran a big race last time. I think Bally Hooligan may be a little bit faster and might be able to get in front of Tiger Whitworth and control the pace and kind of hang on for a piece of this.
You mentioned Ali Hussein. He is winless so far this year in North America. He has never won a race stateside. I do think he's got a chance to break through and have this be his first win for sure, given who's in this field. I'll go 3, 7, and 4. Barry 7, 3, and 6 in race 5. My early pick 5, Barry, is $31.50 if everybody stays in their fields. I'll go with 2 chalky singles in the middle. I'll go all in that last race we just talked about, and I think you understand exactly why I'm going all in race 5. But in the opener, I'll go 3, 4, and 6. I'll play the chalk in the next 2, 1 and 5 in races 2 and 3. 1, 5, and 7 in race 4. I'll throw down on all in the last leg there in race 5. It's up on the screen if you're watching either on Spotify, YouTube, or wherever you are watching this show. Thanks again to our friends at Amwager and Amwager.com for hanging out with us every single week here on SoCal Saturdays on the Horse Racing Happy Hour, hanging out with Barry Spears. I'm Louis Rabeau, moving on to race 6 on the card on Saturday at Santa Anita Park. We find a maiden 50 in here at 1 1/8 on the turf. $35,000 on the line. 3, 4, and 5-year-olds are invited to the party as long as they've never won a race before, Barry. And so I went to the 7 horse in here, who you have second in your handicapping, is another favorite, according to the morning line maker, Indivisible By. This is a horse coming off of a very long layoff that just ran on the 30th of May. And obviously Neil Drysdale thinks he's got something here because this horse is right back in and has worked since that race, Barry. And I'm wondering if they didn't just get this horse on the course just to get this horse back out on the course, dropping into the claiming levels as well from the maiden special weight. If we get that horse we saw in November of 2024 at Del Mar, I think we're going to be in a great spot. But I just happen to like the fact that this horse is second off the layoff. I think the work makes sense, and I think the turnaround as quickly as they have makes sense as well. Went to the 5 horse after that. And Lorenzo Bernini, who you do not have in your handicapping. It's interesting to me, but this horse is coming off of the dirt, has been at 1.125 on the turf before under Florent Giroux, and I think Antonio Fresu could give this horse the proper ride in this spot. George Papapadromou does not go well from dirt to turf, but second off of this kind of layoff, he's excellent and better than the 5th of his races won doing exactly this. He and Antonio Fresu very good together, hitting at 20% at Santa Anita as well. So 7, 5, and 3 for me, Barry. Speaking of being buried on the rail, you're going to the 1 horse here in Raging Inferno.
Yes.
A lot of jokes.
Absolutely.
A lot of jokes there. Second timer here, but also a second off the layoff for Dan Blacker.
Yeah, and that's what I like the most. This horse came back running, my favorite saying of all time. Dropped in class into this $50,000 level, ran a much improved race. I think that improvement continues, and this horse scores here at a nice price. Word about both of the favorites. Lorenzo Bernini is like one of those horses, I think, that isn't necessarily a miler, but doesn't have the speed to go shorter than that. And they're just in a rough spot. When horses drop in class, they went from 50,000 to 20, couldn't get it done at 20, come back at 20, now go back up to 50. And lost as the favorite the last 2 times. I want no part of this horse. And Divisible By is another one where I know this horse is dropping slightly in class, but finds trouble every single time. The first 3 outs were a quote-unquote step slow. Lacked room in the November 2024 race. Last time 4 wide and just passed a couple of horses. Not saying that, they were really cranked up to win that one, but it stands to reason that this horse is a dead closer that always finds trouble. I don't like it at 7-5. So the 1 is where I'll land, and I'll throw in the 8, Mr. Akin. That first race wasn't all that horrible. And I think going to the turf is probably the right move. This horse probably belongs there. Steve Sherman does good work switching horses from turf to dirt. From dirt to turf. And this one fits the bill. Kind of flying under the radar. Honestly, it wouldn't surprise me if this horse wins at a huge price. So I'm keeping that one on all my tickets for sure.
That was race 6 tomorrow, Santa Anita Park on a SoCal Saturday here on the Horse Racing Happy Hour Podcast Network. We've already been inside the mind of Spears, but it's time to move on.
Couple times.
To race 7. It's not good. We are back in the California bred ranks here. $65,000 on the line in a maiden special weight, 5 furlongs on the dirt for 2-year-old fillies. Barry trying to meet the babies. Lihu Princess will not run in this race. The 1 horse is scratched out. So we look to the rest of this 9-horse field. 8 of them remain. Where'd you land in race 7 and made special weight?
Yeah, these kind of maiden special weights are completely wide open. I would certainly, if I were, kind of paying attention, especially playing in multis, is to look at the board on this race. Because, everybody sort of looks the same on paper. It's just really kind of like splitting hairs of where you land and who and why. Because, just like any other race, an inch could decide, winning and losing. Just like here, any sort of detail could sway you one way or another and pick one horse versus another. But in my handicapping, I ended up on the 2 Sauced Up. And in these sort of races, and they're stretching out a little bit from 4.5 to 5, I think experience goes a long way. Horses that have run before definitely run better the next time, and they run faster, and they dominate horses that haven't been out unless they're, considered quote unquote freakish, where they're just very, very talented. And I don't see any of that, at least on paper here. Anybody with any outstanding pedigrees that could overwhelm this field or anything like that, I don't see that. I think Sauced Up ran a pretty good race last time, just didn't get the best of trips from the rail. A lot of those horses on the inside in that race on May 23rd just didn't get a good trip. Kind of got wiped out a little bit. And I think that might go a long way with that kind of experience. Where this horse, if they get a clean trip, they might be able to do some things here. And I basically used the horses from that May 23rd race, the 4 Thirsties Calling and the 9 I'm Smoking Hot, all of whom are eligible to improve off of that race and win this one. I just took what I thought might be the longest price on top.
We agree. I actually am not going to add any notes to this race. You and I agree. We essentially totally completely agree about this. We love second timers, and especially in this kind of company. And we've got some decent second timers actually, and no one stands out as a first timer that's going to have to be a must include once we get there. So I'm simply not going to add any notes. I'm Louis Rabeau. Thanks for hanging out. SoCal Saturdays here on the Horse Racing Happy Hour, presented by Amwager and Amwager.com.
Well, we gotta win it now. Now we gotta have this cold, right? The try has to be
the try box has to happen
in some way.
Yeah, it's got to happen for sure. No pressure. I consider it the feature of the day is the Daytona, allegedly down the hill, Barry. Allegedly, grade 3.
Yeah,
$100,000.
They actually run those races.
Free it up in this one. I think, Barry, when you think about going down the hill and you think about trying to handicap and figure out what it is, I think this race has exactly the field that you want to have to sort through to try to pick your winner out of. There's 12 horses. It's milers doing the 6.5 thing. There's sprinters trying to go the 6.5, all that kind of stuff, all the angles that we try to put together. And I feel not great about my handicapping in this race, which is awesome. But later than planned is the 2 horse in here, and has won at the distance and did it last time in this year. And I am praying to God that this horse runs it back, was good in the baffle, a couple of back, lost to Greenwich Village the second time. 2 times in a row, I should say. And we know Greenwich Village is a fine horse. This is a horse that we saw in the Breeders' Cup Juvenile Turf Sprint under Umberto Rispoli and finished 6th. Before that, of course, won the Speakeasy going 5 furlongs at Del Mar. So this is a horse, Barry, that has experience against the very best, shows up every time. Even in the Pasadena that this horse tried at a mile and was just, man, remember the saddle slipped on this horse at that race?
Big time.
It still finished 5th by a length of 3/4. So it's not like this horse was way out of it. I get 6-1. I'm going to try this one on top here, Barry. Hopefully this horse keeps the form going on the hill that it's had most recently. And then an angle I know you love is more toward the outside of the starting gate here. Sumter, who has won either this race or another graded stake down the hill, the San Simeon, excuse me. Yes, the grade 3 down the hill under Mike Smith for Richard Mandela. This horse does its best running actually with Mike Smith of all things. And so we've watched this one win the Lure at a mile. We've watched this one win the San Simeon. This is a horse that wins listed stakes in grade 3s. That's what Sumter is. Sumter makes it second here in my handicapping. But I'm going to stop talking now, Barry. We're going to throw to you. You've got the 10 horse on top, and that is Zio Joe. You're obviously thinking the same kind of thing as me, which is lots of horses, lots of options. I'm going to grab at least 6-1
here. Yeah. No, I definitely couldn't go with 100%. A favorite. But Zio Joe, I think this horse was well meant. The barn, I think, likes this horse, and you can see some races last year where this horse was in really tough company and kind of holding his own. You see, they lost a Formidable Man, just missed actually the Formidable Man in the Kilroe last March. Then lost to Almendaris, who's a very fine horse at a mile. Johannes, they lost to in the City of Hope mile when that horse was on top of the world, and came back out of that race in particular, the City of Hope mile, ran in the Stormy Liberal, just missed, and lost to Unconquerable Keen at 19-1 that day. And then ran pretty good, what I thought a pretty good race in the Hernandez from the rail. Yep. Then they shipped this horse out to Saudi Arabia, and they lose to Reef Runner, come back, run a pretty decent race to set them up for this race. I think this was on their radar after the turf sprint over in Saudi. Okay. Nice workout, June 7th, mile and 1:01, Hanley from the gate. Yep. I think this horse is moving in the right direction, flying under the radar a little bit, but I think they have a real good chance to win. I think they drew well as well, and should be running late. So we're going to go with number 10, Zio Joe on top.
You went 10-3 here, Barry. Nesso's Last Hurrah will break from the 3 for Jeff Bondy. was in the Urton barn until right now. This one did win, going down the hill last out at the beginning of April in an optional claimer. I assume that experience matters to you. What else do you like about him?
Yeah, absolutely. This horse runs pretty good down the hill. The couple of times that they did it, won once and then ran pretty good to Reef Runner, who I just told you won over in Saudi, is an international
just won
winner.
at Saratoga this past weekend on Belmont Day.
Yes, won on Belmont Day. So you know that horse is kind of like the benchmark to where you can evaluate everybody else. And this horse didn't run that poorly that day. Again, another inside trip, which is terrible, going 6.5 down the hill. Came out of that. They drew outside on April 3rd in that optional claimer and kind of won going away. I thought they could have did more there, and it sets them up perfectly for a race like this. Drawing Jaramillo, I think they might get bet a little bit. So I'm thinking about 6-7-1, but that's okay in a race like this.
Yeah, no, that's not the end of the world. For sure. I went 11-8 as well in my handicapping. Freedom's Not Free. Juan Hernandez gets them out here. This is one that we've seen at longer distances, but did run well in the baffle the one time. This horse did try to go down the hill, Barry. I'm hoping the experience against horses like this in better spots and in longer spots will translate here, because this is first off the layoff. So I'm treating this more like a mile race rather than the Del Mar Derby, which was at 1 1/8 miles, or the La Jolla, which is at 1 1/16 miles. I'm hoping that getting to this distance makes a lot of sense for this horse, who did win the Cinema at Santa Anita Park before trying the American Derby last year. Almost won that one for Mark Glatt. I think this one fits a lot really well here too. I think the addition of Juan Hernandez is not a negative at all. What's that?
Did you hear that? I hit the mic with my hand and I hurt myself. Got to go to the hospital. Dang it. This is your guy, man. This is your buddy. This is your man's.
I am friends with you. It's an interesting choice. Race 9 starts the late pick 4 at Santa Anita Park tomorrow. Thank God for that. And by the way, there will be racing on Monday. I know they had to cancel the last 4 races on the card yesterday. Barry, there's enough interest that actually I think they're going to put together about a 7-race card on Monday. How about that?
Oh, not bad. So that's pretty cool.
Bro, I don't need 10 races every day. I don't need that from your track, dude. Like 6 is fine. Like give me something to do for 3 hours. Like I'm totally fine with it. Anyways, race 9 on the card tomorrow. Starts a late pick 4, optional claimer here. We're back on the dirt, 6 furlongs. On the filly and mare side of things, 3 and up, non-2 lifers essentially. But if you started for a $50,000 claiming price, you can qualify for this one. Barry, where'd you land in the dirt sprint?
Ooh, another one. It's kind of a doozy. This race is difficult. On paper, it's really tough to see. Everybody kind of looks the same. One thing I do know is I don't like the 4 Crazy Cami. I think this horse is probably better suited for the turf. And they're a dead closer, so that just doesn't spell like a good trip. I ended up on the 2 Cosmo
here? The
Friday.
answer is of course, but she's worth the line against that price. I totally agree with you. Yes.
Yeah, she can totally win, but no thank you on Saturday. I'm going with Cosmo Friday. Getting blinkers on for the first time for an outfit that does well with these types off the claim. That last race was pretty formidable. If you kind of go down and look through everybody's races, that one stacks up just as good as anybody's. They should be a decent price. Aguilar is aggressive, and I think that's what this horse needs to get in the race, and I think they'll do that. It's just a matter of how far they want to go. Their lone dirt race wasn't all that bad. You can see who they ran against. It was Explorer and Rivera, who were pretty good horses, and they were kind of went out in front of that field. But I can give this horse a shot going back to the dirt in this kind of field. There's nobody that's just going to overwhelm them. Crazy Cami's even money, but I don't think they should be that on the morning line. They don't look that much better than anybody else here. In fact, I don't think they look better than anybody at all. They just have gaudier numbers because of the company that they were keeping in those other races. You'll see Claret Beret in there, but I just think this race is not suited for this horse. They want to go long. This is a short race. I don't know why they're here, but I guess we'll find out on Saturday.
2, 6, and 8 for Barry. The 6 is on top in my handicapping second timer. And Barry, we're going to have a new segment, I think, on this show. So we have Mind of Spears, Barry's boring play of the day. We're going to start doing Louis Jeff Mullins play of the day.
Okay.
And I need everybody to hear me out on this. We're in race 9 on the card tomorrow. Kyle Frey is going to ride again for Jeff Mullins on this Daughter of West Coast. Her name is Surfing the Coast. She's a 3-year-old. She broke her maiden on first asking at a maiden 50. It was a state bred. Now we're in very similar company here, Barry. Do you know Jeff Mullins? If his horses
is Diesel,
71 of them have won races and then come back the next race, and 41% of them win again.
That's tough to argue against.
On this kind of layoff, he hits at 26%. He wins 27% of his sprints and 29% of his dirt races. Where else am I going to look? Oh, yeah, by the way, no big deal. He and Kyle Frey, 40% together.
So we need a new sponsor for your Jeff Mullins play of the day. It has to be Planet Fitness. Because he's jacked up. My man eats all the weights for sure.
Barry,
I don't want to mess with him, man. He might snap me in half, bro.
So I got the 6 on top. That's what we're doing here. I got the 6.
Yeah.
I went to the 4.
Out of
crazy
fear.
Tammy, out of fear. But also the numbers all make sense. And then Emma G, 3rd in the handicapping here, Barry. This is one that I think is sort of a Barry Spears kind of special. I'm going back to the debut in December at Los Al and not worrying about the turf race that they tried with this horse that they should never have tried. Getting back to the dirt here for Edward Freeman, and his move back to dirt ratio is at 36%. It's very good. This horse has been working at San Luis Rey, working from the gate, getting some speed into this horse. Belmont keeps the mount. We get Lasix again. I don't think the horse wins here, Barry, but I think the 7 horse can absolutely pick up some pieces and land in the money. You went 2, 6, and 8 though in this one. Talavia's World. I think you dated a girl named Talavia. Or is that what I ate at the restaurant last night? Let me get the Talavia with a side of rice.
No wonder my stomach hurts.
What do you like about Talavia's World?
Funny.
She was really good last time.
It's along the same lines as what you were saying about Emma G. Okay. I think the dirt form was good enough. Right. And they may have improved going to the turf. Getting back to dirt makes a lot of sense. And just a slight improvement. They should be right there at a decent price. Getting Pereira again after that maiden win. I've had worse 8-1 shots I've played.
Should we be putting like? Oh, look at Jeff Mullins! Look at him,
jacked.
Man, look at him! Look at my guy, Jeff Mullins.
That's the man right there, yo.
I feel like Jeff Mullins needs like WWE walkout music. Like
he's like the buff SpongeBob. That's what I was calling him for a while. But he doesn't look like SpongeBob. You know what I'm saying? Like he looks more like Pat Riley than he does SpongeBob. Like but he's jacked up like that SpongeBob character, though. I think I've put that on Twitter a few times.
Late pick 3 starts with race 10. It's a $3 minimum on the pick 3, 15% takeout. If you are playing out at Santa Anita Park, look for those elevated pick 3s. Almost certainly their best options on the betting card. Optional claimer in race 10 awaits bettors. Mile and an eighth again on the turf. Non-2 lifers, $67,000 on the line here. Barry, I'll go first in race 10. I went all evens here like you did. I went 2, 6, and 8. Landed on Sabretooth on top. Antonio Frezu rides for Tim Yaktine. This one did win last out at the distance. I didn't love how far back this one was last time, Barry. I'd like to see this one a little bit closer, but this is just the kind of runner she is. We also saw, we also saw him do the same thing when he broke his maiden for Brittany Russell at the fairgrounds as well. And so I think it makes sense that this horse would do the same exact thing here. Phil D'Amato's got Atomic Age joining his barn. And this is one that's coming off of a layoff since October. And you and I both know with D'Amato, layoffs mean nothing. This horse also put in a very, very good work the other day on June 7th at Santa Anita Park. Son of Justify, He's going to stay on the turf. This is one that broke its maiden last time at Aqueduct, going a mile and a 16th, coming out west. First time that Phil D'Amato has a horse in his barn, he wins at over 20%. And so I'm interested to see this one. Joel Rosario gets the mount. I think this one makes a lot of sense, Barry, frankly, in this spot. But you've got the 4 horse on top here before I get to Zalamo, the 8 in Midnight Strike. You're hoping for Armando Ayuso to come through here. Frankly, Armando's got a chance at the riding title, bro.
Sure does. I
I
mean,
don't think that was something
he's,
we were looking at beforehand, but my man's got a chance for sure.
and that's withstanding all the incoming riders from other circuits,
He and Frazu are
bigger
like,
name riders too.
I think he and Frazu are tied atop the jockey lead. Go ahead and talk about the 4 horse here while I look that up.
Well, this race was interesting to me because it was really difficult to see where the speed was going to come from. And that's really the only reason I picked the 4 Midnight Strike on top, because I think this horse is going to go to the lead and go very, 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 very slow. And if they do that, they can win this race, obviously. You can see the body of work this year. They came off the bench, won the maiden race, got a little rest there, came back in a race similar to this one and got an extremely wide trip. Got a more favorable post position on May 16th and ran like it. I see that, and the world sees that Joel Rosario kind of goes away from them, but doesn't ride anybody else in this race. I think they need somebody that's going to be more aggressive. Ayuso fits that bill. He's riding well as well. He's won on this horse already.
Yep.
I think they're going to get a trip of a lifetime here and win this going away. Sabretooth is the other horse I like kind of. It's just the fact that they're going to be far back.
Yes, right.
This horse, it's going to be tough for them to win this race unless they just are much better, which they could be. But I'm going to bet against that at a short price. And then we'll round it out with the 8 Zalamo, who has shown speed at times. And I think just being forwardly placed might keep him in the number.
That was race 10. Started the late pick 3 again, 4, 2, and 8 for Barry. I went 2, 6, and 8 in race 10 tomorrow. San Anita Park on Saturdays. SoCal Saturdays presented by Amwager. We are the horse racing happy hour duo of Barry Spears and Louis Ribot. Thanks for hanging out with us. We're here every Friday at this time, previewing the card for tomorrow. Race 11 starts the late double. Summer Oaks is a grade 3 event, a mile and a 16th on the dirt here, 100,000 on the line. And of course, 3-year-old fillies in this one, Barry. We get a favorite on the inside, and I understand why she's favorite because, listen, as a daughter of Justify, this is a Bob Baffert trainee, Juan Hernandez aboard. This is one that won on first asking, going the 6.5 furlongs, and frankly did it like we expect Baffert trainees to do on debut. They sit just off the pace, and then all of a sudden they are much, much, much better than the other horses in the race. Only her second start, Barry, 4 to 5. She's got to go a mile and a 16th. Where'd you land here?
I landed reluctantly on the 1 Mizumi. 4 to 5 seems really, really short, but nobody's run as fast as this horse has in one try, and that stands out. I mean, obviously, I don't like that price of 4 to 5 on a horse like this, and there'll probably be every bit of that too, which is crazy. But it's really hard to get around that horse in this spot. I know Mow 'em Down has a couple of races to go to, but they're switching back to the dirt and going longer. They stand a good shot, and I think Bank Shot, who has gone long on the dirt previously, lost to Meaning, forced entry. They may stand a good chance, but if Baffert's horse is anything that I think they are, they should win this easily. And the good thing is this horse for Baffert hasn't been training at Losal. That's usually the sign that these horses aren't as good, but this one has been steadily training. Had 4 workouts since that last race. I think this horse is well met.
I think she's the other interesting thing about her, Barry, is the distance is the question here. And I don't think it's
sure
anything else. And here's why. Here's why. Usually by this time of the year with a 3-year-old, we see sprinkled in, especially with horses who are going to be routing in graded stakes, we see 6 furlong works. This horse was working 3 furlongs just a couple of works ago. And so to me, the distance question is legitimate. Obviously, Distorted Humor Dam Side justifies the daddy.
Yeah, but that 5 furlong work on May 30th,
it's spectacular.
That's pretty,
right.
And that's the thing with Bob Baffert. Yeah. Right. When he when he drills his horses hard and fast, and they do it
They run fast.
timely, right?
Yeah,
And they do it
they run
timely.
fast.
Every so often with a pattern. Those are the horses that you can expect that'll run good most of the time. Even the ones that you kind of have question marks about, I'll defer to Baffert on questions of distance and things like that.
No doubt about it.
So
Yep.
that doesn't scare me as much, and that 5 furlong work kind of seals the deal. I think that might be the fastest work on the page.
I think you're right. We both have bank shot in our handicapping. The Santa Isabel, I think, stands out as the race that we would want her to run again if she's going to get there. The 6 horse. I have the 7 horse and Marjoram here for Michael McCarthy and Barry. I don't know
Can't
why,
do
but
it.
this one, it just
can't do
McCarthy, it. What's McCarthy doing, dude? It just
can't do it. I know it's one of those.
Right.
This is a horse that I would love to play at like
uh-huh.
8 or 9 to 1, not at 3 to
right.
1.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you. Yes, I agree.
Because it's a
Jaramillo,
closer,
I think is killing that number.
A turf sprinting closer stretching out in a stake. I just would want a better price than 3 to 1, and that's why I kind of threw this horse out. Plus, the draw is way outside. I don't know what kind of trip they're really going to want or get. Too many question marks at a short price for me.
1, 4, and 6 for Barry in the Summer Oaks at Santa Anita Park tomorrow. 1, 6, and 7 for me in the same race to start the late double. A $5 minimum on that bet and only 15% takeout there at Santa Anita Park. Race 12 closing the card tomorrow. Barry, $50,000 maiden here on the filly side of things and the state bred side of things as well. It means $35,000 in the kitty, and we are going 6 furlongs on the turf course. 3, 4, and 5-year-old maidens available for this one. I went 11, 9, and 3 in the finale. Forza Palermo, speaking of second-time starters, gets a second start here, switches to Kazushi Kimura from Joel Rosario. No kind of downgrade for me at all. Only problem here is that Kimura does not win when he rides for Peter Miller. That would be the only thing I would worry about, but all of Miller's numbers make sense here. When he drops in class, he wins at 31% in maiden type races. He wins second starts with maidens at 24%, et cetera, et cetera. This is also one that has been working at San Luis Rey, but frankly, Barry, we see a lot of the Peter Miller horses working at San Luis Rey. And this is one on the turf that gets to stay on the turf, and I thought did some decent running last time and will just have to be better than she was on debut, and I think she can be. 11, 9, and 3 for me means Butterfly Beach lands in the second spot here. Joel Rosario switches to this one, who last out just ran out of gas trying the 6 furlongs on the turf. Before that, tried the 6.5 at the maiden 50. Gets to stay in company here with other Calbreds, but I think is just simply on the improved third time in the form cycle here. Should be very helpful. Then the 3 horse in my handicapping is second in your handicapping, so I'm going to stop talking. But you've got a long shot to finish off this card in the 2 with Little Sandy B.
Yeah, Little Sandy B is interesting. Has some turf pedigree there. And this horse really didn't do much running first time out. And Baltus does way better second time out, especially on the slight drop, which I think this horse probably needed. This one may be flying a little bit under the radar. I know Baltus has the 8 in the here as well. And that horse probably will be a lot more forwardly placed. I think this one might get a good trip regardless. I think there's some ability there. Moving away from Orantes and getting Ricky Gonzalez might be a little bit of a tip-off that this horse might be able to run a little bit. Okay. In a race that's truly wide open, because Butterfly Beach, although they look okay, kind of ran, kind of got some speed into that horse last time. I still can't trust that, especially with Jaramillo going away and then picking up Rosario, who really doesn't get out to the front as much as he used to. And Jaramillo ended up on the 3 Poly Purebred. And I think that's very interesting in this spot. That's why I have that horse second and then the 9 third. But Little Sandy B might have some turf run there. I mean, they paid $33,000 for this horse, which probably is the most. I mean, most of these. I think anti-slap was
Calbred,
40,000.
Sure, yeah. 40,000
Right,
for
and
anti-slap, yeah.
so
But dude,
I
right.
think there might be a little bit of upside here, especially second time out with Baltus. I'll give it a shot, 15-1. Probably won't get that. I think this horse might get bet a little bit, 10-1, but I'll take it.
2, 3, and 9 for Barry. 11, 9, and 3 for me. We share the 3 and the 9 in our top 3 in our handicapping. But again, Barry going with Little Sandy B, the 2 on top. I'll try the second timer in Forza Palermo out of the 11. The owner, by the way, of Forza Palermo, OG Boss. I feel like you would like OG Boss as a name. Yeah,
I would. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Well, that is the good stuff. A couple trips inside the Mind of Spears. We got our Jeff Mullins play of the day as well. 0 is more than plenty. It just is. It's just what it is.
Listen, man.
It's enough.
Listen,
I don't
buddy.
need anything else. Barking up the wrong tree, pal. I do want to hear, we're not going to do that. We're just going to play music. We're going to get out of here. It's been a Friday edition of the program ahead of the Saturday. So it's Southern California. The Monday closer now at Santa Anita Park. When we get back on this show in a week, we will talk Los Al Derby. I'll effort Jose Contreras. I think that's now the oldest joke on this show. We'll never get Jose Contreras on this show, but we will effort him for the Los Al Derby.
We'll try
on Saturday. We fin try, as the kids say. He's Barry Spears. I'm Louis Rabeau. We'll be back at this time next week on the Horse Racing Happy Hour and certainly on SoCal Saturdays. We thank our friends at Amwager and Amwager.com for hanging out with us each and every week on the program. Good luck with your wagers this weekend. We'll see you real soon on the Horse Racing Happy Hour.
Shout out to Bob Ehalt, my guy.